then I'll be able to submit this to you when I'm done tomorrow. Okay, so the first thing we looked at is you need to know the cost of your product or service. So we mentioned that by cost, we mean that every other hidden costs that are involved in you getting a product, where you sell them, you need to consider that. So you might consider transport, you might consider any other expenses that are involved. So we then said the next thing is we need to find ways to reduce those expenses. So there are some other expenses that are not necessary in business, and we need to find ways that we can be able either to get rid of those expenses or to reduce them so that they get cheaper. And the next thing is you need to increase the price of your product. If you're selling something, you need to look for ways that you can be able to increase its price. So some of the things that you can do is you can brand your product. And in the case of John, we realized that he added some salad and he added some soup. But just by adding those few things, he was using China plates. And by doing that, he managed to increase his price of goods. And he also put some tables and chairs in his place. And because of that, he was always adding prices to his product or service. So the next thing, we need to increase profit and sales by adding value. And the last thing we looked at is the need for you to have more than one supplier. We said that it's very important that you have more than one supplier, because if you are relying on one supplier, if that supplier dies, or if that supplier runs out of business, then your business will also lose your own business. So you really need to make sure that you've got more than one supplier who will supply you with the goods and the services that you need. So the other important thing we always discuss is we need to learn to be able to save money. So we need to always find ways that we can save money, and it's very important for the business that we save. If you do not save, when trouble comes, then you are going to be in trouble, because you end up using the money from your business rather than using the savings that you have. So we said we need to always avoid using our business money for personal uses. So the best way we can do that is to make sure that we save. And when we save, when we have problems, financial problems, we have something to fall on. We will not be able. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my internet. If you notice that I was out for a few seconds, so I don't know what's going on, but I hope we'll be able to finish without these interruptions. So today I'm going to look at the process, and also going to look at you need to find ways to improve your process. And the last thing we're going to discuss today is hire, slow, and fire when it is necessary. So those are just a few things that we are going to discuss today. And we will also look at how you can be able to keep your business clean and organized, and we need to use our time wisely. So those are some of the things we are going to look at, and we're going to discuss today. Sparkles, you said your name it's Mary, eh?
Yes.
Okay, Mary.
Yes, sir.
Yes, would you mind reading this story of
yes, please.
Okay, there's a story for Hafiz. She's from Turkey. I want us to look at that story. Can you just read that story quickly?
Okay, sir. I'm starting.
Says this is Hafiz. That's where
This is Hafiz from Turkey. This is Hafiz from Turkey. She has made clothing to sell for 15 years until she joined an MBS self-reliance group. She wasn't sure if she made a profit and felt like her business just wasn't growing. Her products weren't organized. Hafiz learned the principle of process and began to think about how she ran her business. She organized her inventory and improved how she collected money and how she paid herself. Ever since I analyzed and improved my payments and record processes, I have been able to save money each month. My business is finally growing. When she analyzed and then improved her business processes, her profits went up.
Thank you. So this is the sort of Hafiz. Hafiz, before she joined the MBS Self-Reliance Group, she was doing some sewing and she had been doing it for 15 years. And for 15 years, she didn't know where the business was going. Okay. I think I shared to you a similar experience that we have even here in Zimbabwe. We have got people, vendors, who sell tomatoes on the streets. And these people have been doing it for a very long period of time. And some of them have even managed to send their children to school using that money. But the point I'm trying to raise is that they've been doing it for some of them for even 20 years. And still a small table. And you see the goods, the products that they're selling is just the same quantities. So that shows that the business is not doing very well. Okay, so a business is like a project. If you are running a project, let's say you're running a project, maybe you're growing trees. And if you see those trees 10 years, 15 years, they still look small. That means there's something that you are doing that is not right, or you're not understanding certain things that would help to have those trees grow. So it's more like even rearing chickens. If you are doing a poultry project, you cannot expect to see those chickens just being chicks for 6 months. Then that means there's something wrong. Okay. So the same applies with our business. When you start a business, it's a project that you need to see grow. If the project does not grow, if the project is not growing, then there's something that you are not doing right that you need to do that would help your project to grow. So this is the same kind of situation that Hafiz was. She was sewing for 15 years, and for 15 years, she was doing this every day, waking up and sewing people's clothes and things like that. But she was not making any kind of progress. Reason being is that she was not understanding her process, what was going on in the process, and she didn't understand how she was going to collect the monies, and she didn't understand the records process, how she's supposed to keep her records and things like that. So when she learned this through MBS, she understood that she can actually maintain the records of understanding. We are talking about the income and expense log. We're talking about the income statement. We're also talking about the cash flow projection or business budget for her business. That shows that now she's planning for the future. She's planning to get somewhere. So this is what we also need to do in our businesses. We need to be able to do that. So when you talk of process, we talk of what is involved for you to be able to have the product at the market. So everything that goes on until you get the product to the end user or to the customer, whatever is involved, that's the process we are talking about. In the picture at the corner there, you can see this is an example of a process. In the picture, we learn of a person who is actually weaving some rags. So in the process that she's actually involved in, the first thing is she rears sheep. So she has got sheep that she rears. And when okay, Samuel, you've got a question before I go any further. Samuel, your hand is up. I can't hear you, Samuel. All right, okay, all right, okay. All right. So in this picture, there is okay. So the first thing they do is they rear sheep, and when these sheep they've got this cloth that they have, then they weave or they shear the sheep. So they shear the sheep so that they can get the wool, and when they get the wool, they weave it to make a thread. And when they make thread, then they weave that thread to make some rags. And then they take the rags and they lay them on the market, and then they sell them. So that's the process. So every business has a process that it goes through. Okay. Every business has a process. If you are selling rice, it means maybe either you are buying it from somewhere or you are planting the rice. And when it grows up, then you harvest the rice, then you pack it, then you go and sell it to the market. That's your process. Okay, so that's your process. In my country, there are some outlets that sells cooked chicken. Okay, we've got chicken in, we've got chicken slice, we've got all those kind of so what they are doing, some of them, is that initially they used to buy chickens that are already grown, and then they would slaughter them, and then they would actually cut them into pieces that they want, and then they would sell them. What they are doing now is they are rearing their own chickens. They've got their own places where they keep the chickens, and when they grow up, they take them from there and they slaughter them. They take off the feathers and all that kind of stuff, and they cut them into pieces. What that does is that it helps you to reduce the cost. Because if you are getting something that you have actually, let's say if you are making tomato soup, okay, if you are buying tomatoes that have already been raised by a farmer, that have already been grown by a farmer, it means that the farmer is going to charge you so that he can make profit. But if you grow your own tomatoes and then you process them and then you can them, you find that it becomes cheaper when you are growing your own tomatoes than when you are buying them from a farmer. So what we're saying is that when you understand your process, you need to find a way that you can make that process cheaper. Okay, so this is what I was talking about the person who's making rugs. So the first thing is that they raise the sheep. Then when the sheep have got that wool, then they shear the sheep. And then they take the wool and they spin it. And when they spin it, they weave the rugs. Then the next thing is that they bring the rug to the market. And the last thing, they sell the rug to the customer. So you would find that, I'm sure, Mr. Foju, we might have come across this. They wanted you to draw such kind of a process of your business process. So every business has a different kind of process. So what they want you to do is that they want you to draw just like what they have done here. Some people, they draw circles. Some people, they draw these boxes, but they want you to explain what goes on in the process of your business until you sell your product to the customer. Okay, so this is another example of a process. So this customer makes this business person makes fried bananas. Okay, so the first thing is they buy bananas, and then they prepare those bananas, and the next thing, they cook the bananas, and after cooking them, then they package them into small plastics, and after that, then they price them and sell them. So that's a process. So you find that this process is different from the process that I was talking about of the eggs. So this is different because this is now, but every business, that's what I want to make clear, that every business has a process. So the processes, they might be the same if you are dealing in the same kind of business, or they might differ. But what is important is that you need to find a way that you can reduce the cost of that process so that it becomes cheaper. So this is just to demonstrate what I was talking about. And this is the sheep process. Okay, so what is very important in a business is to find ways to constantly improve the process. Okay, so if we are constantly trying to improve our process, we will improve our products, get more paying customers, and earn more money. So you can see that lady. Okay, so this is what she's doing. So you would find that I could actually talk about a lot of kind of businesses with kind of processes, but you can actually think of the way that you can make your process you can improve the process of your business. Okay. So sometimes some people, if in this case, you can see she's cutting a lot of things at once, then she'll start making them after she has actually cut them. So what she's trying to do is she's actually just trying to improve the process that she's actually involved in. So the next thing I wanted us to discuss is that when you have a business, hiring an employee is a fixed cost. Okay. So it says here, remember the warning about fixed costs. So employees are fixed costs. You will need to pay employees regardless of whether your business makes money or not. So this is what we need to understand. We don't need to be fancy when we are starting a business. We don't need to show off and say, I've got 10 employees, I have 20 employees. We've got that kind of a situation even in my country here. You hear that they've got 20 employees, but the employees will tell you that you haven't been paid for the past 3 months. Okay. So what's the point of having so many employees when you can't even pay them their salaries? Okay. So when you're running a business, that's something you really need to consider. An employee, because he's a fixed cost, you can only employ someone when it is really, really necessary. Okay. Don't rush to employ somebody because you want people to say, you want to tell people that I've got so many employees in my business. No. Okay. So he says, make sure that you really need an employee before you hire one. So if there is a temporal increase in business, we can pay a one-time contractor to get the work done instead of hiring a permanent employee. So you can find someone just to do your job on contract basis. If your business is too small and you feel that there is no need for me to have a permanent employee, you can just hire someone on a contract basis and they do your job, and so that you can actually supply the people that you're supposed to supply until your business grows to such a level that you feel that there has to be an employee full-time on my business. Then you can have an employee full-time. Okay. So there's another way we can have an employee but not be stuck with a fixed cost is to pay an employee with a commission rather than a salary. So I think, remember, we talked about the difference between a commission and a salary. A commission is a percentage of the profits that you have made, that you can either pay yourself or you can pay someone that you're working with. I've got the insurance companies, a lot of insurance companies in Zimbabwe, they employ people on commission. They say if you get somebody to sign up to join our insurance, then you get a certain percentage from what that person pays. So that way, you will not lose anything. But once you employ somebody on a permanent basis, that means that person has to be paid. Whether you make money or you don't make money at the end of the month, that person, you must pay that person. So it says also, it went on to say, often family members and friends will help us if an employee is really needed. Okay, so this is subject to debate. Some people, they don't believe in hiring their family members to work for them, okay, for whatever reasons. So it depends on how you feel about it. If you feel that you have got a relative that you can really rely on, especially family members, or very close friends that you really can trust, then you can actually hire them to work for you, to just help you here and there. Okay, you'd find that a family member, this is what the Indians usually do. The Indians, they make sure that a child who is 3 years old is part of their business. Okay, it's part of the reason why they do that. It helps to reduce the expenses of paying an employee, and at the same time, they also it helps them to train their children so that they can take over their business when they are old. Okay, okay, Mr. Foju, there is a story that I want us to read for Rana. Do you see that story? It says the court story here. Mr. Mello, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
I noticed you're having challenges to log in. Mr. Foju, can you see the story that I'm talking about?
Rana, is it
Yes.
Rana asks her cousin? Is that the one?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So Rana asked her cousin, Sarah, for a job. Sarah is very busy in her shop. So she hired Rana to help with customers and clean up. In less than a week, problem developed between Rana and Sarah. Rana would ignore or disagree with customers. She sometimes slept on the job. She ignored Sarah's instruction and refused to come in during the business hours. Sarah became discouraged and unhappy with her cousin's work.
Thank you. So that's the story of Sarah and Rana here. So I don't know if you've understood the story.
Yes.
Melo, can you just share with us what you have understood?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yes.
I think my point of view is Rana being a cousin. I mean, she thinks she's just a cousin, so she's not. She hasn't taken. She's not taking the work too serious.
Yes.
And moreover, I think she wouldn't be paid also. So I think they are running it as a family, a relative's business or something like that. That's what I think.
Thank you. So if you were Sarah, what do you do? What would you do to solve problems with the Rana in this case? Samuel, what do you think you would do if you were Sarah and you want to solve these problems with Rana? What would you do? Samuel, can you hear me? Okay, Samuel doesn't seem like he can hear me. Okay, Mary. Hello. I don't know if you heard the story. Mary. Okay, I can't see. Mary, you need to unmute. I don't know if you heard the story. Okay, so the issue here is that if you have got even a relative, okay, that is working for you, and if that person becomes a liability to your business, okay, in this case, you find that Rana, because she was a cousin to Sarah, she felt like there's no need for her to put any effort into the business. She was sleeping at the job and she was not listening. She was not following Sarah's instructions, and she had so many disagreements with the customers. So what would that do is that at the end of the day, she's going to destroy Sarah's business. Okay. So in this case, what is best for Sarah to do is to fire Rana. She definitely will need to get rid of her. Okay. So one thing you need to understand is that you can fire friends or relatives if they are costing your business. If they become a gain, I think the internet is just playing tricks on me. So I was lost again. I lost internet just a few seconds ago. But we're talking about Rana, we're talking about Sarah and the need for Sarah to fire Rana. It's always important that if you feel that someone is becoming a liability to your business, there is no need for you to keep that person in your business, because the more you keep that person in your business, the more customers you're going to lose and the more profits that you're also going to lose because of that person. So you wouldn't want to lose customers because of an employee. Okay, so it might be your relative or it might not be your relative, but anyone who works for your business. So I want us to understand this. I've always said this. You as much as you have got there is your name on the business, you are an employee to your own business. Okay? So you need to do what is best for the business to grow. If you feel like you cannot do it very well, you might need to employ somebody who is good at whatever you feel like you are lacking. Okay. So you find that oftentimes some people will have the ideas of running a business, but they don't know how well to run a business. Okay. So in that instance, you can either partner with somebody that you feel that you've got the ideas who can run the business well, or you can employ somebody. Okay. You can employ somebody. Again, I don't know what's going on. So, okay. So I'm going to discuss, I'm going to show you a picture of something that I want us to look very closely at. I'm going to try and share my screen with you. And this is a challenge we have, especially here. I don't know if we've got the same challenge in Ghana, but it could be the same. There is a phenomenon that have just, in Zimbabwe, it started just a few years ago. People are buying bales of clothes from foreign countries, from Britain, some from the States and all those kind of countries that they bring the second-hand clothes and they sell them to people. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, if you can see my screen, I see
Yes, sir.
Okay, Evelyn, you are back now. I'm sorry, I think the internet is giving me challenges. It's also giving me challenges here. But if you can see these two pictures, if you can see these two pictures, if you are to go and buy clothes from these two pictures, where would you? My internet is now switching off every second now. I don't know what's happening. But I was showing you a picture of a marketplace where there is two places where they are selling clothes. Okay. So I want us to look at these pictures very carefully and look at if some of us, maybe we do the same things. Okay. It's still loading the pictures. And hopefully it will finish now. Okay. It's not yet finished, it's still loading. Okay. It's taking forever to load. Okay. So what we want to learn from that is that we need to always keep our business clean and organized. So the place where we do business, it always has to be clean and it always has to be organized. Okay. Some people even go an extra mile of planting flowers. They plant flowers at their business place so that the business place looks very, very nice. Okay. Okay. So it says here, look at the two market stores in this picture. They both have similar prices for clothes. One is obviously messy, dirty, and unfriendly. The other one is organized, clean, and attractive. Okay. So, Melo, which one would you buy from here? If you had to buy something, which one?
I think the one on the right.
Okay, why would you buy? Why would you choose that one?
They look clean, I would say. And I think selling this to a customer, it looks presentable, I would say.
Sure. Thank you so
I mean,
much.
it wouldn't be so difficult for a customer to buy.
Okay. So if you look at it here, this could be the same clothes that you are seeing on the first picture and the ones you are seeing on the second picture. The only difference is that this person on the second picture have actually taken time to maybe clean them and maybe iron them and then maybe make sure that he places them or maybe she places them so nicely. Okay, so that way you can find that she can actually increase the price of this than the first, on the other picture, and customers will buy. Okay, so like I told you, there's a phenomenon in Zimbabwe of the bells of second-hand clothes. Okay, people, they just bring those second-hand clothes because they come in bells and they will be so wrinkled, and they just throw them on a sack and they expect customers to come and buy. Okay, so that way you might not get the kind of business that you want to get. So it says here, a sure way to drive away customers is with dirty and unsanitary products, surroundings, or employees. Keeping things clean and fresh is an essential part of your brand. If you prepare or sell food, you have a special need for good hygiene, fresh, healthy products, and sanitary conditions. Employees, especially those who deal with customers or food, should bath regularly and keep their hands, hair, clothing, and appearance clean and neat. Okay, I've seen a lot of women who sell clothes. They look so clean. They're always so presentable. That's how you should do when you're running a business. Okay. Cutting poor lighting, worn out displays, damaged products, dead surroundings, and unkept staff can all. I must apologize, my internet, I don't know what's going on. I think I'll have to check and see if we can, as soon as we finish, I'll have to check it and see what's going on. Okay, so, and that's one thing that you need to understand when you are doing a business. So the businesses, there's different kinds of businesses. Whatever kind of business that you do, make sure that you maintain your place very clean, and you make sure that the place is always organized. Okay, so even your staff, the people that you, if you employ staff, make sure that your staff are very presentable. They look smart and they look clean. That attracts more customers to come to your business than if your staff is not presentable. Okay. And the last thing we're going to look at is the issue of using time wisely. Okay, so this is a challenge for most of us. We don't understand this principle of using our time wisely. We just let things happen. We don't sit down and plan, but we just let things happen on their own. Okay, things will not happen on their own. You really need to sit down and plan on how to spend your day and how to spend whatever time you have. Okay. Says here, Evelyn, would you mind reading the story that is presented there? If you can see it. Evelyn? Are you with us, Evelyn? Okay. Melo, can you see the story? Evelyn, I don't know what's happening with the internet, probably.
Please come again. Your line is, there's some breakages. Please, can you come again?
Is that so? Okay. So this is what I always worry about, because sometimes I think I'm just speaking because I can't sense that you are struggling to hear me. How am I now? Melo?
It's clear now. It's clear. It's clear now.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for that, because oftentimes my internet, I don't know what's going on. I think it's a poor network where I am right now. Okay. I just want you to read the story that is presented there, Melo, if you can read that. I see.
All right.
Yes.
Can you see that? Use time wise. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah. Just read the story.
So use time wisely.
Yes. Start with say once there was.
All right, sir. Once there was a man who claimed to be an expert in time management. He approached a major company in the USA and offered to teach the company president 3 steps to make him successful in the use of his time. The president agreed to pay the consultant what he thought the advice was worth if the company implemented the steps the consultant taught. The consultant taught the president the 3 steps and went over how to use them in the company. Then He returned 30 days after the training. He was pleased when the president reported that not only had he implemented a step, but those steps had made a huge impact on the company's productivity. Then the president paid the consultant $10,000.
Okay.
Do
Thank you so much.
want to know? Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So here is a story of a man who claimed to know how to, he claimed that he was an expert in time management. And he went to a company, a major company in the US, and he offered to teach the president 3 steps to make him successful in the use of his time. Okay. So the president agreed to do that, to listen to this man. But this man told him that he would pay him, the president should pay him whatever he feels like. Okay. Whatever he feels like that advice is worth. And he said if he implemented those 3 steps. Okay. So I'm going to share with you the same steps that this man shared with this man. So these 3 steps that he shared with him is that first step is list your tasks. Okay. So each morning when you wake up, list some tasks that you feel that you want to do for that day. So this, you need to do it every morning. When you wake up in the morning, list steps that you want to do. So list some priorities that this is what I'm going to do today. Okay. When you list them down, then you need to set priorities. You need to set which one is more important, which one is the next most important. So you need to put the most important on number 1, the second most important on number 2, the next most important on number 3, and you go on like that. So after each task, okay, then okay, if you've finished prioritizing those tasks, okay, if you feel like you've got more than one high priority task, choose the order of the most important things to get done that day. So if you feel like I've got more than one important things, just make sure that from those important things, which one is the most important, and you put it as your priority number 1. So this is what he told him. So he said the first thing is list tasks. Second thing is set priorities from those tasks. And the last thing he told him to do was do the highest priority first. So if you have listed maybe 10 priorities for the day, if you listed 10 tasks for the day, I don't know if my internet is still stable. It says here my internet is not stable. Can you hear me, Melo?
I can hear you clear.
Okay. So it says now, do the highest priority first, and you need to complete that task or complete it as much as you can. So if you can't complete all of it, do the best that you can from that first priority that you have. And then keep moving down the list. When you finish that, you go to the next task that you are supposed to do. If you don't finish that task for the day, that's all right. Okay. Just focus on what you have done for that day. And the following day, don't worry about today's task. Tomorrow you're going to write another list. Okay. So what might be important to you today might not be as important again tomorrow. So don't worry that I didn't finish the task that I was supposed to finish yesterday, so I need to continue with that. No. Following day, come up with another list. And when you come up with another list, you prioritize that list. There's 5 of them. You just write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you put the most important task as the highest priority that you feel for that day. And you work on that task. Okay, so you work on that task. And when you finish it, you go to the next task. When you finish the next task, you go again to the next task. So it says, don't worry if you don't complete your list. You'll always be working on the most important task of the day. So don't worry that I didn't finish my task for today. What is important for you is the following day, you need to come up with another list. And that list, again, you need to prioritize that list. You must put the most important thing on the list, and you work on the most important thing on the list. So So those are things that I wanted us to look. That's lesson for today. So what we have looked at today, we have looked at the process. Okay, this is unit 8, which talks about the process. So the first thing we've looked at is know your process. So by knowing your process, you need to know what is involved for you to get the goods or get your services to the end user or to the customers. So the next thing, once you understand your process, you need to constantly improve your process. Okay. By improving our processes, we are saying that you can either, instead of buying something very far away from you, you can actually find where you can buy it closer to you, and which makes it cheaper. So improving is only means that you need to make sure that you reduce the cost of your process. Okay. And the next thing we said is that you need to hire slow and fire when it is necessary. So if you have decided to employ somebody, and if that somebody is costing your business, don't wait for the end of the month to fire that person. Okay. Don't wait until the end of the month to fire that person. You need to get rid of that person. Okay. That's why you find some companies, they send you on paid leave because they don't want you to cause more harm to the business. So they will put you on a paid leave. You will stay home for maybe the whole month or the whole 3 months. You will be staying at home. The reason is because they feel like if this person stays at the business, he's going to be toxic to the business and is going to destroy our business. So you don't need to hire somebody when your business does not require it. If your business grows enough that you need a hand, then you can hire someone to work for you. And when you are hiring, there are certain issues that you need to consider. Either you can get someone on contract basis, or you can actually get a friend or a relative to assist on the business. Once you get a permanent employee, that means that person is protected by the laws of the country. Okay, so there are labor laws that protect the employees. Once you hire somebody as a permanent employee, that person is also protected by those laws. So you need to understand that you have to pay that person whether you make profits or not. You still have to pay that person because it becomes a fixed cost, just like the rent that you pay. That person becomes just as good as the rent, and you have to pay them whether you make profits or not. So the next thing we looked at, you need to keep your business clean and organized. So make sure that your place is clean enough. And make sure that if you are selling clothes, they are well ironed, they are well cleaned, they are well placed. Some people put them into plastics so they stay clean. That will attract customers. Okay, customers will be happy to get a product that is in good condition, that is in excellent condition. And the last thing we looked at is the need for us to use our time wisely. So this is one of the challenges that we have as business people, how to manage our time, how to make sure that we use the time that we have wisely. So each and every one of us have 24 hours a day. But you discover that some people, they do a lot of things in the 24 hours, and some people, they fail to do just a few things in the 24 hours. The reason is because we don't understand the principle of time management. If you don't manage time, time will manage you. Okay. If you don't, you will see some people, they are always in a hurry there. It's because they don't have plan. They don't have plan for what they're supposed to do. They don't have anything. Okay. And I've always discussed this with the students that I've taught, especially the youth, that someone will just call you and know that if I call Evelyn, she's not doing anything, and if I ask her to go with me somewhere, she'll just go with me. Okay, you don't need to be that kind of a person where people can just take advantage of you and say, I need to go this way, and you fit into somebody's program. You need to have your own program. You need to have your own things that you are planning for the day. If you call me and you want to meet me, I'll have to look at my schedule first and see when will I have time to meet with you. So I'll have to fit you into my schedule. I don't want to fit into somebody's schedule. I must fit somebody. If somebody wants to have a meeting with me, that person has to fit into my schedule, unless that person is meeting is so important that it actually benefits me more. But if it's just an ordinary meeting, if it's just those kind of casual meetings, the person has to fit into my schedule. Okay, if he can't fit into my schedule, then I'll have to tell him that I'm not available until maybe next week and maybe until next month. I think you have seen this, that you talk to somebody and they tell you, let me look at my schedule, and they tell you that for this next week I'll be busy, and can we organize to meet maybe in the next 2 weeks? It's because these people have got their time well managed, and they are using their time wisely, and they don't fit into the other people's schedules. So you really need to have your own schedule, so that when somebody comes to you and say, Melo, can we do this, you tell them, let me look at my schedule, because you don't want to have somebody interrupt your schedule and maybe spend time with you and doing nothing, maybe doing something that benefits them and you don't benefit much from them. So you really need to be able to understand that. If you don't understand that, you see people will take advantage of you. They will use you whenever they feel like using you. They'll just call you up and just take you and go with you wherever they want. And their things would work well, but your things will not work well. So you as an individual, you should have your own schedule for your life, and you work on your own schedule. If somebody wants to get involved, you then try to fit them into your schedule. So that's how you should work. But that's what I do. I've got a schedule for what I do every day. I know that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to do this, and after this, I'm going to do this. If I'm going to go to town, or if I'm going to go somewhere, I know that I'm going to go this way. So if somebody comes and says, let's go this way, I'll tell him, oh, I'm sorry, I cannot, because I've got a schedule that I need to fit. And that's my schedule. So we all have the same, I think that's what I want us to understand. We all have 24 hours per day. That's the all time we have. Okay. So there's no one who has got more than 24 hours per day. We all have 24 hours. So what we do with those 24 hours determine how we are going to be successful in life. So if we then fit into other people's schedule, you would realize that 24 hours is going to look like it's maybe 20 minutes or 10 minutes. And you would spend the 24 hours, you have done nothing for yourself. Maybe you've just been busy running around with other people's schedules. Avoid this. Okay. Find ways to avoid fitting into other people's schedules, and have your own schedule and work on your own schedule. I don't know if you've got questions. We've come to the end of our lesson for today. Mr. Fojo, I'm sorry for the interruptions with the internet. Anyone with a question before we close? I'm going to submit the recording. Mr. Fojo, do you have any questions? I'm sorry you were not with us for quite some minutes.
Yes, I had issue with data. I had to purchase one, so I was off for a moment.
I'm really sorry for that. I'm really sorry. I had issues myself with the internet here.
I think I'll go through on the recorded one you will send.
Yes, I'm going to submit the recording just after we finish. I hope I'll be able to submit it. If I don't submit it tonight, I'll submit it tomorrow. Samuel, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. I wanted to. You said in India, when the child is.
Sorry, Samuel, I can hardly hear what you are saying. Can someone hear what someone is saying so that they can actually say? Sorry, Samuel, I didn't get anything. I'm really sorry. Your internet, I think it's either my internet is so bad or yours is bad. Melo, did you hear anything from what Samuel said?
No, please. His internet, I think, is very bad because his voice is jamming.
Okay. You can write that question, Melo. Either you can write it on the group or you can write it on this chat board so that I can just look at it and I will answer you. Evelyn, do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Melo, do you have any questions? Melo, you are on mute. I don't know if you are talking. Do you have any questions before we close?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you.
Hello, sir. Please, sir.
Oh, okay. So you don't have any questions?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. I mean, I understand everything you just taught.
Oh, okay, okay. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Some of you can actually send your question to either on the group, or you can send it to my WhatsApp, and I will then be able to answer you. Because I can hardly hear what you are saying, and I'm sorry for that, because I cannot hear what you are really saying. But I wanted to hear what you were asking, because I wanted us to, maybe it might help others also. Maybe if you have a chance to ask that question, also benefit others. So if you can still ask that question on the group, then I would be able to answer your question. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, and thanks for coming. I'm really sorry for the internet issues that I had and that you were also facing. But let's meet again on Monday, where we'll be doing Unit 9. And we'll see, because these last units are very short, and as most of the stuff that we have already covered so far. But this is my encouragement. Please, let's make sure that we fill in on our platform, because once we finish, then they want to mark your project. So I was discussing with the directors about that, and they're actually happy that I've seen most of you have actually been working on your projects on your platform. So that's very good. But I've noticed that some of you maybe had some challenges here and there, and I'm going to look at that. If you had challenges, I'm also going to assist you, so that you can actually be able to get your certificate at the end of the training. But you only get your certificate once you have finished submitting your assignments on the platform. Okay, so our class will only help you to understand things that are already in the materials that are already available on your platform. So, but what is more important for you is to be able to submit those assignments, so that you can be able to get your certificate. Okay, Melo, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. Talking of the assignments.
Yes.
I think you were saying you need to submit. I think I don't know. Does that mean that I'm a little bit confused over here? I mean, it's something like an online. Is it automatically submitted at the end of? Well, I mean, when you finish with the project answering all the questions, is it automatically submitted, or when you get there, there's some way you need to submit it? Because I'm not done with mine though.
Okay. Every time you answer a question, and you submit. Okay, I don't know if I shared this with you last time. Let me see if I can just do that quickly and see if I can be able to share with you a little bit of that. So once you submit you'll find that every time you're writing something, it asks you to fill in. Like I gave an example last time. I don't know if you were there. I'm just trying to see if I can be able to get that quickly.
Okay. If can I come in here?
Sure, you can come.
You see, since I have advanced in working on the project,
yes,
I just want to put a bit of information for my colleague.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bello, when you go to the platform, your platform, you have to you click on the requirement. Once you click on the requirement, it will open, and so unit by unit, as we have been taught by our lecture, will come. When you press a unit, it will give you all the work that he's teaching us. After you have read thoroughly, it will end by giving you questions to answer. As soon as you finish answering them, to submit will come. A green color with submit will come. Yes. So you press the submit and then it go. Once it go, it allows you to progress, to go to another unit.
Yes.
The same thing, you go through reading, it will give you questions, you answer the questions, then the submit part will come. You submit it, it allows you to go forward. That is how it is.
Okay. So thank you so much, Ojo. That's exactly what I've been saying. So I was about to share with you my screen so that you can see what I'm trying to say. But what Mr. Fojo, what you have just said is very, very correct. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's what you are supposed to be doing. I'm just going to do a quick screen share so that I can maybe help you. But what you have said, that's what I'm saying. So like here, I hope it will show you.
My face.
I said your face is like what?
Oh, Melo was kicked out. Are you back, Melo? I see you are out. Melo, are you with us now?
Yes, please. Sorry. My network just jammed. I just left.
I noticed. So here,
I just logged in. Sorry.
So this is what I normally do when I want to go to my platform. So if you can see here, I've just written Interview Solution Academy portal. So if I click enter on this one, so this will do. It will take me to the Interview Solution portal. Then I hope it will do it quicker so that we don't have to spend much time. So once it does that, so you don't use the same link to go to your platform, the link that I gave you to sign up. So it's a different link that you then use to go to your platform. So if you use the sign up link, it will take you to the sign up. It will not take you to your platform. Okay. So you really need to understand that. Okay. So this is what you do. So it says here, Interview Solutions. There should be some other pages that should come out. I think my internet is now very, very slow for some reasons. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so it shows Interview Solution, then it shows Interview Solutions Academy. So you can actually go to Interview Solutions, the first Interview Solutions here. So you click on that. I hope it will take us, it won't take time for us. So I'm going to use my credentials that can help us so that I can show you what I'm saying. Unfortunately, it's slow. It will take us more time because it's very slow. But I want us to understand this because this is key. This is the most important area of this course, because like if I was teaching you face to face, it was going to be easier. It was going to be much easier for you because what I would do at the end of this training, I'll give you papers that you just have to fill in. And once you fill in those papers, I would then have to scan to Interview Solution. But this is different because in this case now, you have to do it online. You have to do it on your own where you are there. So you just have to submit everything online. I think it's even worse now. The internet is even worse for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so do you see that, Melo? Melo, do you see my screen?
Yes, I can see that, sir.
Okay, I think there's somebody who's written something.
Yes, I can see.
All right. So, all right, thank you. So you go to where it says platform, my platform. Would you see where it says my platform?
Please come again.
Do you see where it says my platform?
Are you asking if I can see your platform?
Yeah, do you see where it says my platform on my page that I'm sharing with you?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So it says home, about us, MBS products, programs, countries, excursion trips, donate, then my platform. So you click on my platform. Okay. So once you click on my platform, is going to ask you for your logging in details. So it will ask you for your logging in details. Unfortunately, my internet is very slow. We should have finished this by now, but it's very, very slow.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please. So, yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
I think to make it short for you, I was asking. I've already logged onto my platform.
That's good.
Just as Mr. Forger was explaining. Just as Mr. Forger was explaining. I go to the, you see the units drop down, and then right now I'm on unit 3.
Yes.
I've answered question on unit 1, unit 2. I've gone to the one that we have to draw a table, do the logins. I've done all of that.
That's good.
So I'm on unit 3 now. So I was asking, I mean, after you are through up to unit 12, does it automatically submit itself, or there is a way? I mean, there will be a push button that you have to submit your assignment.
Okay, so once you reach to unit 12, once you finish the unit 12, the assignment for unit 12, and you submit that unit 12, it will say, congratulations, you have finished.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It will say then, congratulations, you have finished this course. So that's what it will say to you.
All right.
So they need to because some of the things that you are doing already, they can actually look at that. They've got access to whatever you are doing. They have a look at them.
Okay.
And yes, they can actually see whatever you are doing right now. So you don't have to worry. Once you finish and you finish the unit 12, it will then say, once you submit the finishing of unit 12, tell you that congratulations, you have actually finished the course.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much.
So they need I think it's about 80% for you to get your certificate. They will need you to get about, say, 80%.
Yes, sir. I will take care of that, sir.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, sir. Please, with the expense log and the table calculation thing.
Yes.
I have colleagues who are really finding difficult.
Okay. Can you have them on Monday so that I can assist them? Because I think it's not really difficult. What is more important is you need one thing you need to understand in your mind is you are only planning. Okay? You are not working with actual figures. We are working with planning figures. So you can actually come up with figures that you are going to enter in there. But those figures, they have to make sense. If you calculate them, if you add them together, they have to give you answers that are correct. So that's what you need to do. So what I would do, I think on Monday, I would take a few minutes to explain that. But don't worry about the actual figures. This is where maybe you might have challenges. That's why I was saying that even your figures don't have to put the commas and all those kind of stuff. Try to work with like what you have done. If you look at Maria, she was just saying 2,000, and she was saying 100, she was saying 500, saying 200, and things like that. So that when you add up, you don't confuse yourself. Oftentimes, people make mistake of then when they try to add things up, they get confused. Okay, so I'll explain that a little bit when we meet on Monday, but it's not very difficult. It's actually very, very easy. I'll take some few minutes so that I can demonstrate. Thank you for that, Melo. Anyone else with a question before we call it a night, because the time is all right. Thank you everybody, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Let's meet again on Monday. So we will be doing unit 9 when we meet on Monday, and we are going to discuss that. But in the last few units, they are not as complicated as the units that we have done. So it's just maybe the basic things that you might need to understand. But I think the most complicated ones, we have already finished them, especially the numbers that you are talking about, the income and expense of the income statement and the business budget and all those kind of stuff. And those ones are very, very critical for your success, especially with this course, because if you don't get them right, they usually look at them very seriously. So those are some of the areas that if you don't really understand them, please let me know, and I will spend time with you so that you can fully understand them. Because this, I think unit 11 and 12, those are much, much easier. We can actually do them, both of them in one night. They are not that difficult. So thank you, Melo, and thank you, Evelyn, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's meet on Monday.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Welcome. All right, bye.
Bye.